Hello everyone, this is Rahul from Opus. Today we are going to discuss about extreme angles viewpoints in which is the primary application of three-point perspective, and these extreme angles are sometimes asked in the examinations to draw, and especially in relation to the human figures. So when you will face such a questions like suppose you are at a certain angle at a certain level, and you are viewing a figure from that angle, and how that viewpoint shall be from that particular angle in which you cannot normally be present. Okay, so these are mostly some imaginary like you have to visualize like how those angles and those how you can visualize certain figures from those angles where you normally cannot be present. So those ability to visualize is actually judged into this kind of questions. So suppose there is a question like, suppose you are a worm like a small worm crawling on a boxing ground, and you are seeing the boxer from the below angle to the top of his, just like you are just lying uh, uh, around the foot of that boxer. So these kind of angles you cannot be normally be present, but you just have to visualize. And here you have to take advantage, take use of three-point perspectives. Uh, like just a minute, I will just put this thing a little above so I get a more space for drawing. Uh, yes, that would be fine. And will increase the space for my drawing space. Okay, so getting back to the drawing question. So suppose you are viewing that person from a very low angle, or from the angle which is closer to his foot. So you have to apply the principles of three-point perspective. So suppose if I draw like a cube, which we are visualizing like it is in 3 point, where we know that the lines actually are very tilted and moving this way and that way. So that is what is required first to be drawn. So see here we have a certain structure which are being used in this kind of drawing itself. So now you see how I slowly construct uh, a figure which would like be like we are seeing the figure from at a very low angle, and it gives the impression of that dynamism, and also uh, that impression that you are actually viewing the figure from closer to its at an angle closer to its foot. But these kind of angles are mainly imaginary, and you have to be very like very clear about like how to draw 3D shapes in various angles to be able to handle questions like this. So these are slightly challenging, but with practice anybody can come up with the like sketches like this. So you will see these kind of angles mainly in comic books and other uh, places where dynamics angles are explored to make the drawings looks makes the visuals look much more interesting, so that the people find it's easier to uh, find is more interesting than the real life angles that they generally see. So these angles are mainly taken because it gives a break to the people uh, or the observer, so that it shows that they are seeing something different that what they see regularly in their normal life, and that is becomes the selling point of those comic books. And also these kind of angles are, that's why these kind of questions are sometimes given in the examinations to judge your, to see how creatively your mind, how creative your mind is, and how you can visualize at various things which are not possible for the regular people. And that is also the mark of any creative individual, is to visualize angles and visualize something which is not possible, or maybe not possible but very difficult for the common people. So see, this is how I have drawn a figure which is like seen from a very low angle, and it is gives the impression that we are seeing this from bottom up. So after this, you have this like I have this sketch. I can always just uh, make this erase, like in paper you can erase this, and then give some final strokes to make it look much more interesting. So see, now I can give very solid, neat and clean lines, and my drawing will come as it was expected, or as like I wanted. So these kind of figures you will find lots of reference. So you can see, buy some comic books and practice from there. And you can also take help of certain photographic references, or you can take your own reference. You can click pictures in these angles. So you can ask some of your friends or family members, and suppose they are sitting at home, and you can just take your camera and click an image in those low angles, take some low angle shots and practice from there. So that is how you will develop that aptitude to handle challenges, drawing challenges like this, which is very dynamic in nature. And sometimes most of the parts you will see get distorted, it's drawn distorted, because at that angle most of the things appears to be distorted. So that distortion and dynamism, if you have to bring it in your drawing, you have to practice a lot from various references. So that is the key to master these kind of challenging drawings. And also uh, a slight amount of practice will give you that feel and aptitude that is required to draw figures like this. So this is one sketch that we could develop, and see, then you can give certain like details of the rings. And suppose this is there is a corner, and at the back you can add certain like details of certain audiences who are might be sitting there. So those can be very sketchy. Okay, so this also gives that impression that that it is a live scenario where it is this angle is being taken. And more the people which are backward, you can give very less details, just to give that feel that okay, this is an arena. And see, on the top I can also mark a kind of a ceiling. Okay, that also gives that uh, feel and the depth of the angle in which from which we are observing the figure itself. So these kind of figures, like you will find the application of uh, 3 point perspective, or the 3 point perspective questions are mainly of this sort, where you have to uh, you will be given a certain question where you have to visualize a subject in a certain uh, angle. And suppose I add a chair here, like where the boxes comes and sits. So see, these are all imaginary situations where you have to use your sketching and visualizing ability to bring certain depth and story to your drawings. Okay, so this is what is required from you, and that is how 3 point perspective applications you will find in various kinds of drawings or drawing questions. So they will give you certain questions where you have to push your imagination and you have to bring out your creative ability and showcase how you are applying your 3 point perspective understanding to draw visuals like this. So that is the main idea of studying 3 point perspective uh, techniques. Okay, so you can push as many as you can, and then you can give a slight shade to the figure that can help bring some volume to the figure itself. So this is the last phase where most of the things are sorted out. Then you can give certain amount of details of the jersey. So if you are using colors, then you can also use colors for your references or to increase the depth and feel of your drawings. So this way you have to tackle uh, questions which are mainly based on which we mainly called as extreme angles, and that is nothing but the application of 3 point perspective. So I hope this lesson helps you understand the application of 3 point perspective and how it is used to draw extreme angles of various human figures. And you will find this, you can use this same technique in drawing other subjects also. You can use this technique for other subjects. It can be anything. And thus you can find the 3 point perspective application to be helpful to draw extreme angles. I hope this lesson helps you. Thanks a lot.